What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush, Let's Talk Jets. Hope everybody had a good Monday. I did not. I'm still annoyed by this game, which is ridiculous at this point. And it's like, what a difference a week makes, right? You come out of the Patriot game feeling good about yourself, thinking that the team finally turned the page and moving on to bigger and better things. Then after a mini bye, they come back home and lay a colossal egg where the offense was putrid, the penalties were embarrassing, and the coach looked dazed, lost, and confused, just like he did last year. And now you have more questions than answers with a win-now team, and a team that has way too much talent to be this bad, like to perform this poorly. Now, I understand games like this are going to happen. This is not time for it. It's just not. They haven't put together a full game other than a Patriot game. Like, they had to start building on things, and you wonder about the mindset, the play calling, just the culture of the team. And then you listen to Saleh's press conference today and yesterday, and this guy is literally talking himself out of a job, similar to what Joe Judge did. Now, I'll preface this by saying, at the end of last year, you could have made a very good case that Saleh should have been fired, Hackett should have been fired, because the Jets the culture they have is they justify losses, they excuse mistakes, there's a lot of complacency, they're very, very comfortable, and there's no accountability. It's been a problem since Saleh's been here. The players, there's no fear factor. Like, there's no repercussions for doing poorly. It's like, you know what, it's okay, we'll be okay next time. And now you go into the season where we all bought in, like, they didn't make any changes. They tried to bring in a consultant for Hackett or an assistant for Hackett. That didn't work out. But the thinking was that the return of Aaron Rodgers can overcome any concerns you have with the play calling or the coaching staff in general. Because keep in mind, the resume of Saleh he doesn't have no world championship resume as a head coach. He doesn't have this winning culture background like of his program as a head coach. He doesn't have that. There's always been scapegoats. The coordinator, the quarterback, it's been everybody but him. But now he finally has a quarterback, but we still had concerns, if we're being honest. And the thing was, Rodgers is going to be so good, he can overcome our concerns at head coach or at coordinator. And what we saw yesterday is that Rodgers is not a miracle worker, because when you have a certain level of incompetence or a certain lack of discipline, even the best of all time is going to have a hard time getting this team back on track. He's got to not only be a very good quarterback, he's got to be a leader, a mentor, a coach, an assistant coach, a motivator, and then he's got to be the disciplinarian as well. It's absurd, and it's alarming, and it's a problem. And the only ally that Saleh had throughout this entire process was Aaron Rodgers, because he can communicate his message. Sorry, I can't even talk. He could communicate his message to Rodgers. Rodgers can tell the locker room, and they go like that. But it seems like slowly but surely this relationship is evaporating or disintegrating. Even Boomer Esiason said this morning, like, the body language, you could sense it. And then the coach Saleh, in a moment of just stupidity yesterday, brought into one of the factors of the Jets losing the game, or the operational problems on operations, is that the cadence is becoming a problem. And you're looking at this coach like, are you serious, man? Like, your play calling is abysmal. The false starts, the penalties, all the things that went wrong. And you're going to question the only guy in your locker room has a Hall of Fame pedigree or a winning resume and a championship that he won. Like you're seriously going to do this? Like, your only leader, the only guy that this entire locker room has faith in, you're going to try to hold him accountable when so many other facets of your organization are not being held accountable. It's laughable. And you know Rodgers, as he should, just shot right back at him. Like, dude, you're going to question my cadence that's worked for 20 years? We want to hold people accountable. Let's look at your coaching. Let's look at your decisions. Let's look at all the things you're doing wrong. You want to look at me? I'll look at you. Saleh won't win this game. So that was already the first part of the problem. The second part of the problem is today he had a backtrack, and he looked like a complete jackass. It was embarrassing. So he went, he said his comments in the press conference. Then he probably went in the office last night, and Woody and Joe Douglas are probably like, dude, what are you doing? You're going to question Aaron Rodgers after an embarrassing loss where the team looked completely unprepared and were thoroughly outcoached, and that's going to be your talking point that in this market is going to garner a ridiculous amount of headlines? It's just stupid. So now he backtracks, and you got to figure now, but the players may love Saleh as a person, they may love him as a man and respect him as a man. They don't respect him as a head coach when he's constantly backtracking and just displaying pure incompetence on and off the field. They don't look prepared. They're not motivated. And when was the last time when the offense is sputtering that you ever saw Saleh walk off the sideline and go talk to the offensive lineman? Go talk to Aaron Rodgers. Go talk to where the problem area in the offense was, and he actually help him fix it. Like he said, he's more involved in the offense. Where was he yesterday when things were falling apart? Does he have the wherewithal to say, you know what, on 3rd and 1 from the goal line, run Braylon Allen, or does he just defer to everybody else so he can't take any blame? Because that's the problem. Like he's just not head coach material. And now he's risking losing the locker room. And you know, if it comes down to Saleh versus Aaron Rodgers, he's going to lose that battle. They're going to side with an all-time great player that they know can win games. So you have that problem. So now the question is, what do you do next? And to me, you know, all I kept hearing all day today was that you can't fire a coach mid-season. Woody Johnson will do this. Woody Johnson will do that. Bullshit. You can do whatever you want. This is a results-oriented business. And if you're not getting the results, you make a change. The Raiders did it last year with Josh McDaniels. They got instant reaction with Antonio Pierce, and they didn't have a quarterback. They actually beat the Jets. So don't tell me you can't do it. The other thing you got to keep in mind is there is a very good chance this is Aaron Rodgers last year. Do you think he's gonna go through the wear and tear this entire season, the grind this is becoming, and say, you know what, I want to come back next year? So if this is indeed his last year, you got to give him every opportunity possible to win football games. And if that means firing the coach, you fire the coach. Now the question is, well, there's nobody to replace him. Do you think their players don't respect Ulbrich as a head coach if he took over as an interim head coach, or Middleton? It's very easy. You promote Ulbrich. The Jets got very good defensive coaches. You promote one of them, the defensive coordinator. If you want to, you don't have to fire Hackett. A move you can make, you can demote him. All right, Rodgers, you want your guy in the building? He's still in the building. He's just not calling plays anymore. Or it's a collaborative effort, or something's going to change there as well. You can do this. Because the bottom line, it's not about egos or whatever else, or the perception or the backlash. It's about winning football games. The same thing with how Saleh handles players. You're scared to bench Breece Hall because of what? The backlash of Breece? Is it about winning, or is it about worrying about the players' feelings? And that's the problem, right? So for me, Woody Johnson has a meeting. You have a meeting today, and you say, listen, right now, what happened yesterday is unacceptable. If this happens again, there will be changes made. And you put the whole organization on notice from top to bottom. This shit has to stop. We are not wasting a year of Aaron Rodgers, which could be his last year. Because guess what? If this falls apart, you're going to be firing everybody. He's going to be gone. You have a full rebuild coming in next year. New coach, new quarterback once again. I know Tyrod's under contract and you have Jordan Travis. But, I mean, this is where we're at. Somebody has to drop the hammer on this entire organization and be like, listen, we cannot tolerate anymore. We got to stop being complacent. We got to stop being okay with, it's like everything's always fine with the Jets. Nothing ever be like, we can't just say we're terrible, we're miserable, and everything has to be better. It's always, well, it ain't that bad. It's like this whole positive spin on this because they always want to act like everything is cool so they can sell tickets. So now Woody Johnson has to cut the shit, stop worrying about ticket sales, stop worrying about the media and everything else, and do what's best for your organization. Put everybody on notice. And if it doesn't work out, say if they lay in a complete egg against the Minnesota Vikings, fire them. Because you know what? At some point, I'm at the mood now where I think we're delaying the inevitable. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they fire him. So if it has to happen against the Vikings or the Bills or the Steelers, if they're 3-5 at the bye, whatever it is, don't be scared to pull the trigger. Because it's not about him, it's about the team. If you want to demote Hackett, demote it. Like, you have to, we've seen this all before. This isn't a first-time thing. It's not like this Denver Bronco game caught us by surprise. We saw this how many times last year? We saw an Aaron Rodgers offense look like a Zach Wilson offense. And now Saleh is trying to justify it. But now you can't. And know why you can't? Because now he has no more excuses where it's like you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, you have all kinds of talent on offense, Mike Williams, Conklin, Breece, Braylon, Garrett Wilson, all this. Your defense, even with injuries and no Reddick, is still very good. So where is the blame? So instead of pointing your finger out, you point it back and look at yourself, Saleh. And the more you talk, the worse you're making it. So this is going to get interesting. Like I am so annoyed. Like you go into the gym tonight, everybody's like, oh, your Jets suck. What happened? Like the Jets can't lose in normal fashion. It's got to be a grandiose disaster. And that's exactly what they did. And this is the aftermath. But the only thing is, this is something that we fear was going to happen. And now it happened. And if it happens again, changes have to be made. Don't be scared about what could happen in the NFL or what the normal protocol is. There's nothing normal about the Jets and their dysfunction. So sometimes desperate times require desperate measures.